Welcome to Gabby's World of Crazy. Hi guys, it's me Gabby and I'm back again with another reaction. I'm about to react to the top 10 insanely racist movies in Disney. I don't know what movies they're gonna have on there because it's always things that Disney, like videos about explaining Disney things that you have missed. I'm just like, why? So I wonder what movies. I don't know if I was born back then, but I don't know what movies they're gonna have on there, so I don't know. But I want to see. Like, I just want to know. Anyway, let's get into it.
Wait, how did we not notice these the first time around? Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 insanely racist moments in Disney movies that you totally forgot about. Before we begin, we publish new videos every day, so be sure to subscribe for more great content. For this list, we're ranking the most embarrassing, anachronistic, or cringe-worthy moments of racism that Disney would likely want their fans to forget or ignore. We're not passing judgment on the people behind the scenes at Disney here, as many of these moments were a product of their time. But it should also be discussed how many of them haven't exactly aged well. Number 10. Sunflower, Fantasia. Fantasia was certainly an early example of a Disney classic, an amazing combination of classical music and animation that still holds up today. What perhaps doesn't hold up so well is a character included on the film's initial theatrical run. Her name was Sunflower, and she was a black female centaur or centaurette who was seen waiting on her white brethren during a segment titled The Pastoral Symphony. Sunflower is drawn with exaggerated black features, and is a clear example of a visual stereotype that didn't need to be there in the first place. Perhaps this was the reasoning behind Disney's decision to remove the character from prints starting in the mid-60s. Number 9. Japanese soldier caricatures. Commando Duck. It may seem strange today to think of cartoons as wartime propaganda, but this was actually a common practice during World War II. Commando Duck was one such short by Disney, a cartoon that sees Donald Duck parachuting into Japanese territory for a secret mission. The short tends to focus its plot primarily on Donald's battle tactics, but there are plenty of racist moments, specifically with how the Japanese enemy is drawn. Donald's foes are deliberately presented with slanted eyes, buck teeth, and overblown accents.
Oh, I beg my pardon. I bow my stomach at you, very reverent. That's all right. Happy cherry blossoms to you, please.
This was certainly due to anti-Japanese sentiment of the time, although it has not aged well when viewing the short today. Number 8. Conveyor Belt Mammy Doll. Santa's Workshop.
Mammy, really?
Santa's Workshop was a holiday-themed Disney short which, on the surface, is a harmless tale of Saint Nick and his elves getting ready for Christmas. However, early versions featured a troubling scene between Santa and a pair of dolls, as the toy maker is overseeing quality control on the assembly line. A white doll comes down a conveyor belt, says Mama, and gets approved by Santa. Then a black doll tumbles down the belt, says Mammy, and stamps her own butt, as Santa watches on and laughs. Given that the word mammy was slang for a black nursemaid in the time of slavery and the doll's exaggerated features, it's no wonder Disney removed the scene from all modern prints. Number 7. King Louie, The Jungle Book. King Louie is a beloved character from Disney's adaptation of Rudyard Kipling's The Jungle Book.
And old King Louie, that's me.
Louie is a Disney original, having not appeared in Kipling's original stories, but he didn't arrive without his fair share of controversy. King Louie and his ape subjects are the only characters that speak in jive slang, popular with black jazz musicians of the day. Richard M. Sherman was one of the songwriters on the film, and has been quoted as initially wanting jazz legend Louis Armstrong to voice the king, but balked at the prospect of potentially offending the NAACP with a black man voicing an ape. So, is King Louie racist, or is it all in the eye of the beholder? You decide. Number 6, Arabian Nights, Aladdin. The American Arab Anti-Discrimination Committee wasn't too thrilled with the soundtrack for Disney's 1992 hit Aladdin. They took specific umbrage with a line in the film's opening song, Arabian Nights, where the peddler sings, "Where they cut off your ear if they don't like your face." The committee saw this as disparaging towards the Arab people, and complained to Disney for a lyrical change. The company did comply, and replaced the line for home video, and on new versions of the soundtrack. The committee was also reportedly upset about another controversial line from the song. It's barbaric, but hey, it's home.
It's barbaric, but hey, it's home.
But Disney decided to leave this one in, for better or worse.
If I were as rich as you, I could afford some manners.
Number
That
5,
is
Native American stereotypes. Peter Pan. Intent can be a funny thing, especially when it's perceived much differently years later.
This should be most enlightening.
Disney's Peter Pan is an example of this notion, as evidenced by a shockingly racist musical number with very innocent intentions. The Native American sequence in the film raises flags with the song What Made the Red Man Red, where embarrassing Indian stereotypes are the order of the day. Although the scene is light and bouncy in tone, the effect years later is rather cringeworthy in its execution, a blemish on what's otherwise a classic slice of Disney nostalgia. Number 4, we are Siamese, if you please. Lady and the Tramp. The intentions behind Peter Pan's racism may be up for debate, but it's a lot more difficult to defend the outrageous cultural insensitivity behind the Siamese cats in Disney's Lady and the Tramp.
We are Siamese if you don't please.
Post-World War II tensions are the only probable reasons behind the obvious Japanese stereotypes of Sai and Am, two villainous cats who sing this song. The twins are drawn with the same slanted eyes and buck teeth we saw earlier in Commando Duck,
Oh,
and their
yeah.
entrance is even marked by a gong, something that hampered Asian stereotypes in film right through the 80s and 90s. Number 3, Shungan and the Alley Cats, the Aristocats. We continue with Asian stereotypes here. Proof
Wow.
that negative depiction of such characters wasn't only limited to the immediate aftermath of World War II. Nope. Asians were still being drawn with the same old slanted eyes and outrageous accents in 1970, as evidenced by Shungan and the
These
gang
guys
in
made
the
so many
Aristocats.
movies.
Fortune cookie always wrong.
I wasn't even born yet.
Shungan rolls with Thomas O'Malley's Alley Cat friends and performs his part of the song Everybody Wants to Be a Cat with chopsticks and a buck-toothed lisp. He isn't the only feline stereotype
Maybe
here, however,
chopsticks.
as there's also Peppo, an amorous Italian, and the trumpet-playing scat cat who's modeled after black jazz musicians of the 50s and 60s. Number 2, The Crow's Dumbo. The term Jim Crow was used to describe laws or regulations designed
the
to
laws. I
enforce
hate, like,
racial
even though I wasn't
segregation in
born.
the United States. The lead crow in Disney's Dumbo is also named Jim, and has received his share of criticism in the decade
Really?
since the film's release in
I even never seen the
1941.
movie.
But I be done seen about everything
Really?
when I
Why'd
see
you name
elephant
Crow
fly.
Jim?
Although Jim and the other crows are generally friendly towards Dumbo, the fact that they speak in stereotypical black slang could easily be interpreted
I
as
feel like that
lazy
one
or
is.
racist
'Cause you
in their
named
depiction
the crow
of
Jim.
African American
You
culture.
know these
The
laws.
gang
These
does
laws
get to
are
sing
like,
the film's
oh.
most memorable song, When I See an Elephant Fly, but this doesn't change the fact that modern audiences might see the crows in a very different light. Before we unveil our number 1 pick,
Dishonorable
here are
mentions.
some honorable, or in this case, dishonorable mentions.
We keep the blazing on the streets to talk. Get out the blackfish is in the belt and this right in nowhere.
You be my man Friday. Savvy? You Friday, me Mickey.
Savvy.
Who's there?
I'm the full price man. I'm working my way through college.
Number 1, Uncle Remus, Song of the South. Uncle Remus wasn't a Disney creation, but his depiction in this 1946 film lives on as one of the company's most infamous moments. Remus was a fictional character responsible for narrating classic African-American folktales. When he hit the silver screen, however, Remus and Song of the South almost immediately struck a sour note with audiences. For starters, the film never explicitly presents itself as taking place in a post-Civil War South, leading many to believe that
As we
Disney was
professional?
marginalizing the impact of slavery.
That's how the leopard got his spot. That's what Uncle Remus said. That's what Uncle Remus said.
There were also a plethora of black
I don't like
stereotypes
that.
to be
I have
found,
never heard this
which
song.
eventually resulted in the film failing to receive an uncut home video release in the United States to this day.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from what.
Wow, like some of those I agree with in my opinion. You know, you don't have to agree with me. It's just my opinion. You know, Disney. I wasn't even born when those movies came out, but it's just like me. Period. Any racist slang, anything like ticks me off. No matter what race, I feel like any race, coming at any race is horrible. You shouldn't be doing that, because we all, as everyone always says, we shed the same blood. When we bleed, our blood is red. So like, some races feel they're superior than other races, and I just don't like that, you know, because today, my race is still experiencing racism. It might not be as harsh as it was, but we're still experiencing racism. Things have not changed, and even though there's like many interracial couples with, you know, Asians and Black, Hispanics and white, like, it's still gonna be some racist people regardless. Like, racism is something that, like, you don't have to be a racist yourself, because racism is like that's horrible, you know. The things that happen at different restaurants like Starbucks, I was like, wow. And it's just like, I hate racism. And like, when people say like, you weren't even there when the slaves there, so why you so heartbroken? And that happened like centuries ago, and of course that I wasn't there, so I don't know. But it's like, our history that we're learning, it's not even our history, it's other history. It's like, when we learn, like, we learn a little bit about our culture, but like, I don't want to hear about how we're slaves. It's like the textbooks and everything try to like dress it all up like it's not something major. Like, it's like, oh, it's minor, it's minor. Even though I wasn't there, because I had to know how, like, you ever got, like, people were getting beat. Like, they try to be like, oh, a few people own slaves, not everyone owns slaves. Anyways, I think I'm gonna have a video talking about it, like, but like, anyways, I didn't know Disney had some of those films were like, they were crazy, like, they're real, like, Jesus. Some of them I did agree with, like, especially the Crow one. I don't know, was it on purpose or was it like just, oh, it's a jokey joke? But like, literally, like, you know, people, if you're not like Jim Crow laws, really, you know, these laws were in effect like years ago, not originally, like, of course, years ago. And so for you to name the Crow Jim, really, are you serious? But anyways, guys, if you like my reaction, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, add me on Snapchat, follow me. Ouch, I punched myself in the face. I said follow me on Instagram. Both are the same thing, at Gabby_J Smith. And stay tuned for more of my reactions. And bye.